Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is out now in theaters. It's going to be out on Disney Plus in 45 days. This is going to be my spoiler-filled review of Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I went and saw it again. I just couldn't resist. It's too good. This is your final warning if you don't want to be spoiled with spoilers for Shang Chi. You can cut and run right now. I also have a spoiler-free review. I'll leave that in the link as well. Yeah, did Shang Chi improve for me the second viewing? Yeah. There was a lot more character development that I picked up on, so I guess I'll start there. First of all, Tony Leung as Wenwu. Wenwu is one of my favorite MCU villains. His motivation makes so much sense when you think about it. Like, he just wants to see his wife again. But he's racked with guilt, and that guilt also carries over into his son, Shang-Chi. Let's start with the guilt side of Wenwu first, because we see in a flashback that there are these businessmen that show up at his doorstep with his wife there to greet them. They're like, hey, we're here to kill Wenwu. She is telling Shang-Chi, she's like, don't do anything. She has this line that I tried to make a mental note of. It's something to do with like blood and like blood, how it like runs through family, I think. I don't remember the line exactly, but I remember I was like, that is a very impactful line. I was trying to make note of it. Can't remember the exact line. But in that moment, his wife dies. Even though you don't see it, it's off screen, but you see Shang-Chi as a kid, probably about 4 or 5, you see his reaction. So later on in the flashback, when Wenwu comes back from wherever the hell he was, and he learns that his wife is dead, he immediately blames Shang-Chi, but he's also wrapped with that guilt because in the beginning, we learned that he was trying to find the village of Ta Lo like 1,000 years ago, but like the 10 rings have like allowed him to live thousands of years. That is when he met his wife. So when he comes back and he sees this dead wife, and he, in a way, blames Shang-Chi because he's like, you didn't do anything to save her. He also, at the same time, realizes that it's also his fault because when he married his wife, he gave up everything. He gave up the 10 rings. He's like, no, you know what? Having a family and starting a family is way more important than playing with the rings that Sonic the Hedgehog flies through. I can give it all up for that reason. Like, this means way more to me than any of this 10 ring bullshit. Oh, he's wrapped with guilt because he says, if I didn't give it all up, I could have prevented all of this. And that's just part of his character motivation, where it's just like, holy shit, this dude is just so wrapped with guilt, and the fact that he feels in a way responsible for his wife's death while he's also blaming his son, especially on second rewatch. That added a lot more character depth and a lot more layers to not only the characters, but the movie and the scenes themselves when this was playing out. Not to mention, he takes those 10 rings back and he goes after those douchebags that killed her, and he takes little Shang-Chi with him, and he's just throwing people around the room with the 10 rings, and Shang-Chi's there, and then he discovers years later when Shang-Chi is 14 that he has found the people who killed his mother, and he wants Shang-Chi to go and kill them, and this is where Shang-Chi is wrapped with guilt, and we get even more character depth and layers to this movie that I just honestly never really thought about when I first saw it, and it improved this movie for me on second viewing because now Shang-Chi is wrapped with guilt. He's like, well, shit, like my dad wants me to kill these people? I'm only 14 years old. I gotta go off on this mission. My dad trained me to be an assassin since I was like probably 4 years old. He's the leader of this 10 Rings organization. These terrorists want me to go murder people at age 14. I'll say Shang-Chi has every right to be like wrapped with guilt, because if I was assigned by my clan to go and murder somebody at the age of 14 because they killed my mother, yeah, I'd be pretty messed up too. And the fact that he actually admits that he did it, he's like, I did it. And he's just wrestling with the demons inside of him, and he's like, now I have to kill my father, because what Wenwu's ultimate goal is to go into Ta Lo because he believes that his wife is still alive behind this gate in Ta Lo. So he's gonna go into Ta Lo and bring the gate down, which is totally not true. The villagers of Ta Lo tell him, is like, no, this is fake. Shang-Chi is even trying to tell him, no, dude, you're hearing things. Like, it's not true. She's not alive. And Wenwu is just not listening. The emotional conflict between father and son was so well realized that honestly, even in the scenes where Wenwu wasn't in the movie, I was just thinking about everything has led to this because of the guilt that these two characters feel and the decisions that both Shang-Chi and Wenwu have made up to this point. The fact that Shang-Chi openly admits to his friend Katie, who thought she knew him, but really doesn't know him all that much at all. We'll talk about Katie in a minute. Damn, like, I literally might have to kill my dad and get those Sonic the Hedgehog rings that he has had for thousands of years now, and which ultimately leads us into the third act of the movie. Yeah, I'm jumping around a little bit. I started in the middle, talked a little bit about the beginning, now I'm at the end. I can understand to a degree, and I said this in my review, where people do think that the third act is overstuffed, because here's how it starts off. It really just starts off as a battle between the Ten Rings and the villagers of Talo. Razor Fist, Ivan Drago's son, just shows up because he's the coolest henchman ever, although this person has a cool mask, but why didn't this person do anything cooler? Like, Razor Fist stole the whole show. Ivan Drago is the one who stole the whole show. Who is this character? Like, that's something I kind of realized on second watch, where I was like, that's kind of a wasted potential. A really cool mask, but I don't even know that character's name. I don't even think they say that character's name. I just know that that character, he or she, is in the background in most scenes, like kind of like the one like overseeing like the training for Shang-Chi and his sister Xiaolin. I think I'm going to say that name wrong throughout the entire video. Apologies if I say his sister's name wrong. So, I mean, that's really her purpose. She's kind of the Captain Phasma of the movie, just there and then does nothing and gets ganked in a really easy way. But yeah, that third act, it starts off as the Ten Rings versus the villagers of Talo, and then you have Shang-Chi versus Wenwu, because Wenwu's going to the gate. He is opening that gate no matter what it takes, at whatever cost. He's so convinced that his wife is behind that gate. And so Shang-Chi battles it out with Wenwu, but Wenwu manages to crack the gate, and out comes this big-bellied beast that sucks people's souls, and now the villagers of Talo have to team up with the Ten Rings and fight that thing, and now we get the Great Protector, a dragon. We get a dragon fighting this big beast thing, and then these other creatures that come out the gate with this big-bellied beast thing that are sucking souls, and that's how Wenwu actually dies, and you actually feel bad for Wenwu. It's just like, damn it. He was trying to reconnect with his, man, you sucked my soul in this scene. You not only sucked his soul, but you sucked my soul. You sucked the life right out of me. Man, come on. So yeah, I understand where people are like, okay, it could have ended here, it could have ended here, it could have ended here, and it just keeps going to the point where we have dragons now in the MCU. Who would have ever thought about dragons in the MCU? All I can think of is Fred and George Weasley from Goblet of Fire just yelling, "Well done, dragon!" Yeah, we get dragons in the MCU now, so that's a bit of a game changer. That's what made this movie feel fresh to me and feel a little bit more original than previous MCU movies, especially Black Widow. I don't hate Black Widow. I give it a bit of a middling review. Like, I enjoy Black Widow, but let's just face it, Drykoff is a terrible fucking villain. He's the worst MCU villain. I don't care what anybody says. Malekith is still better. But Wenwu just took it to a whole different level, and now this actual battle after Wenwu is dead, you can feel the stakes there, because it's like, oh shit, like Wenwu let the cat out of the bag. Damn it, now we gotta fight this beast to save the village of Talo. Although, I wish Guang Ho didn't die. That guy was awesome. He was teaching Awkwafina like how to shoot, but the thing with Awkwafina, okay, so we're gonna get to Awkwafina's character, Katie. She is awesome. I love everything with Awkwafina in this movie. Her character, Katie, is really good, and they could have taken the easy way out with Awkwafina in this movie. They could have been like, alright, you're playing Shang-Chi's friend. You're gonna learn something early on in the movie. She learns that he is skilled in martial arts, and then she starts questioning him on it, and he's like, alright, I gotta go on my adventure, because if you remember in the trailer, there's that whole action scene on the bus. That's when Ivan Drago's son, Razor Fist, I just like calling him Ivan Drago's son, because he is Ivan Drago's son. Is this the redemption Ivan Drago wanted in Creed 2? He's finally getting his redemption, finally putting a stamp to the Drago name. Good for you, man. But yeah, Razorfish shows up with members of the Ten Rings, and there's this fight that breaks out on a bus. It's in the trailer. Really, really sweet, slick fight scenes, too. I loved all the different camera angles in it. Yeah, so they're after Shang-Chi. He has like this necklace that has like a pendant on it, and so they steal that, and he's just kicking their ass the whole time, and that's when Katie is just like, who the hell are you? And it could have been easy to write Awkwafina out of the movie the moment Shang-Chi was like, okay, I have this postcard, this is where my sister is, I gotta go find her because she has the other pendant. You have no business going with me. But the movie made the smart idea to bring her along for the adventure. She never felt like a burden, she never got annoying. I'm glad that they got rid of that trope where it's like the friend knows and now they just let the other friend, who is the important one in the story, the important one who's going to save the world, go off on his adventure while he or she stays behind. No, she actually goes with him. And it's really great. Their chemistry and their banter back and forth, it's so good. And they also made the smart decision not to make them boyfriend and girlfriend. It was just this really good friend, this type of relationship. And I think that made their bond even more special. But she becomes a really badass warrior at the end. I'm like, why didn't they cast Awkwafina as Mulan? She's not cooler than cartoon Mulan, but she is cooler than live action Mulan. She is able to shoot an arrow right at the big bellied beast's neck and destroy that thing as the Great Protector is getting its soul sucked, because if the Great Protector gets its soul sucked, that's it for Ta Lo. Ta Lo is just gonna be in ruins after that. I think Michelle Yeoh's character even says, like, hey, if that thing sucks the soul of the Great Protector, that thing is going to be unstoppable. That is an unstoppable force, and we're all going to fucking die. So as that thing is getting its soul sucked, she shoots the arrow at the big belly beast. It hits the big belly beast right in the throat, and then the Great Protector is able to take it down with Shang-Chi and Jai-Lin on its back, and it's awesome. And then it gets like chopped in half into chunks, and it just like blows up. I'm like, that was fucking cool. For a Marvel movie, I loved all of the character journeys in this movie. There's just so much that these characters go through. As I said, with Wen Wu and Shang-Chi, like, it just adds so many more layers and depth to this movie, and Katie's actual storyline feels earned in the end because she's going along with Shang-Chi on this journey. She's learning more about Shang-Chi, but she's also learning more about herself, and that's what makes this so rewarding for me. Feels like she's the one who had the best character arc throughout the entire thing. I was really impressed with that. Shang-Chi's sister, Jai-Ling, I keep saying her name wrong. It was really interesting that she was like the owner of this fight club that was not owned by either Brad Pitt or Edward Norton. Oh shit, I told you about Fight Club. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. They're not in the movie. But that scene where Abomination and Wong are fighting each other still bothers me. It doesn't have a place in this movie. It's just there to be like, hey, remember Abomination? Here he is. Why does he look different? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in She-Hulk. Can just take 30 seconds to explain why Abomination looks the way he does and why he's fighting Wong. Like, does Wong just do this in his spare time? I have no idea. Oh yeah, Trevor Slattery's back. That Iron Man 3 twist, in which I'm the only one that likes that twist, I feel like. Yeah, he's back. Thank God. And they actually address why that twist happened in Iron Man 3. Honestly, it's a really weak explanation, but I can overlook the weakness of the explanation because at least it's addressed, and when you think about it, it makes sense in the long run. You think back to it, it's like, you know, yeah, but do I really buy it? Not really. That's the only thing, but at least it's addressed, so I can overlook the really weak explanation as to why Trevor Slattery is back. But Trevor Slattery is back. Thank God. He's played by Ben Kingsley. I mean, that was a home run in Iron Man 3, and he showed up at the premiere. I didn't mention that he was in the movie in my spoiler-free review because that was the one thing where I was like, just in case you didn't know that he was at the Shang-Chi premiere, just in case you didn't know that he was in the movie, because if he's at the Shang-Chi premiere, that basically guarantees 100% that he's in the movie. I didn't want to spoil that, so yeah, Trevor Slattery returns, and he's as hilarious as ever. And I love his little pet Morris, this like chicken pig that can fly, and it has no face. It's hilarious. Like, Marvel is so good at taking characters like this and just making them so memorable and redeeming characters like Trevor Slattery. They're really good at that too. I love when we got the Ta Lo too, because damn, I tell you, when we got the Ta Lo, I was fairly convinced we had just stepped from a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie into the world of, I don't know, Chronicles of Narnia or something. Like, seriously, Discount Aslan was there. Discount Aslan was in Ta Lo. And you had more of those chicken pigs. I just love seeing all the creatures there and just seeing them prep for battle and being prepared for when Wen Wu and the Ten Rings were actually going to come. Break down the gate and Ta Lo. That's really all I have to talk about with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I really talked about a lot. I just wanted to really express my thoughts more on the characters and just the impact it had on the movie and the impact that it had on the characters. I mean, I really picked up on it more on rewatch than I did the first time. And I think it's because I watched this in Dolby, and when I was at the press screening for this, when I saw it a couple weeks ago, I was in like this really like dinky, shitty theater where they only had the front speakers on. So I got more out of the movie when I was with a crowd with speakers all around me in a Dolby theater on a big ass screen. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more on my second rewatch. But I did find another flaw, and it's that mask person. Who the hell are you? We have the Captain Phasma of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it was Taskmaster and Black Widow. It is now this person. I feel like I got the gist of what I had to say about Shang-Chi out and all my thoughts on it out, and I dug this movie. I thought it was really good. A breath of fresh air, a fresh take, in a way, or an original movie from Marvel that somewhat changes the game moving forward. Now that we have frickin' dragons in the MCU, we should just bring in Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon and then have Smog come in as well. Just have Smog be a good dragon and just have him do like dragon battles and shit with other dragons that are evil or big bellied beasts that suck souls. I think I already asked what you thought of Shang-Chi, so I'm gonna ask this. If you did see Shang-Chi, what was your favorite moment in Shang-Chi? There were some great action scenes in here. Almost every action scene I loved. Like the one on the scaffolding, I mean, the bus fight's amazing. The third act is amazing. The escape in Razor Fist car is hilarious. That's like a small one, but what was your favorite part? Was it an action scene? Was it more of a character development scene? Whatever it may be, let me know in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.